Good evening, everyone, from Odyssey, the journey of life. As we are marching towards the fifth episode of Odyssey, today we have a very eminent and very special guest. And I'm happy to introduce him. He is none other than Mr. D.S. Hanumantha Rao. Good evening, sir. Welcome to this platform.
Good evening. Thank you.
And I would like to tell a few words about him. He studied in government engineering college Coimbatore, and he's passed out in 1961. And he worked in navally, and after that, maybe around after 12 years, he he went back to studies. That is, he studied in IIM Ahmedabad. And few years back, I visited Ahmedabad. I am Ahmedabad, and I could see his name printed in. He's in the topmost of the student who passed out from IIM. I'm very happy and very privileged to that you have come to this platform, sir. We are very warm welcome to you. And
Thank you.
and I would like you to start the conversation about yourself, about your lifestyle, and I have a lot more to ask. I think we can write a book about him. Yes, we want to know more about you and about your project also. Please.
Thank you very much. After passing out from IIMA in 75,
Yeah.
I worked at Neyveli for 4 years, and I did 2 important studies there and came out with a consultancy assignment from the organization through KfW, that is the Export-Import Bank of West Germany at that time.
Okay.
At that time. That is a social cost benefit analysis of Neyveli second mine and second thermal power station with an investment of more than 9,000 crores. I was asked to make a social analysis whether the projects are desirable or not for the country. I did it and presented it to the KfW economic team, and they approved it without any change.
That was in which year? That was in which
Is
year?
No, actually, it is in 79. I came out for the taking interest in my children's studies at higher echelons, that is probably HSA and college. So I resigned and joined IFMR. At that time, I came with that assignment.
Oh, wow. Wow.
With that assignment.
Okay.
Okay, then afterwards, probably about 8 months or so, Professor Rangarajan, C. Rangarajan, former RBI governor as well as Andhra Pradesh governor, he guided me in this. He gave me one note called Layman's Understanding of Little Mirlis. That is the basic of social cost benefit analysis. If today our country does any job, it is based on this perspective, whether the projects are desirable or not. Okay. Then after 8 or 9 months after the approval of my report by the Naval Lignite Corporation, I switched over to public finance. That is public finance of public sector undertaking. This is public finance of government of Tamil Nadu. Ford Foundation asked me, you please advise Ramanathapuram district collector whether the DPAP programs will be successful or there or not. I worked for nearly 2 years there as an project advisor to the collector of Ramnad, and prepared a detailed project report for about nearly 30 to 40 projects, including uplifting of widows, water supply, and other aspects. That was also approved by the Ford Foundation. Then I started my work with IFMR, regular this thing, training.
All your 30, 40 projects have been approved at that time?
No, it is a project report consisting of projects specifically for draft-prone area program. Because Ramnad district is known for no rains at all. Of course, not this year, previous years. So for whatever the projects that are suitable for non-rain fed areas, We have developed and given it.
Okay.
We have given it. That is
Okay.
the thing.
Okay.
Then,
You
of
should
course,
IFMR,
yeah.
the prestigious institution, IFMR.
At that time, I have come to IFMR. That is my first project from IFMR. Then afterwards, I was asked, come on, you do some pricing studies for the Airports Authority of India with one single line reference. My passengers, international passengers, must get into the aircraft or get out of the airport within 20 minutes of getting down out of the taxi.
That's very,
Getting out of the
very
taxi.
fast. Is it
So
applicable?
for which, no, it's a very, very challenging job for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, really.
It's a
Yeah.
very, very challenging job. I have to spend about a fortnight at the Bombay International Airport to check up as to how the passengers are behaving and what are all the shortfalls in the Zahar International Airport. I was asked to take that as the benchmark, but
Okay.
whereas I found that there was a lot of lacuna in the planning of airport, so that I corrected it by an investment of more than 1,800 crores for Madras, Calcutta, and Delhi, and other things. The second Indira Gandhi International Airport or the Madras International Airport or Calcutta Airport has come only because of that.
Okay, okay,
For 4
okay.
years, I argued as an economic lawyer on behalf of the Airport Authority of India, getting an increase in the landing and pricing charges of international aircrafts from 35,000 to 85,000 rupees per landing and
Oh,
takeoff.
okay, okay.
Other charges like apron charges, protection, lighting, and other things are separate, only for landing and other things. I have to go into some technical aspects
It's
also because
exorbitant. It's exorbitant amount.
No, Zahar International Airport, if you go at 12 o'clock in the night, between 12 and 2:30 in the night,
Yeah.
4 Boeing 747s will land and take off in 2 hours, 30 minutes. You imagine the number of people getting down and getting out, getting in. That's
Yes.
about nearly 1,400 passengers. And to receive them and send them off, multiply that by 5, you
Okay.
get nearly around 7,000, 8,400. So my report started with the first sentence, Zahar International Airport at this point of time between 12 o'clock in the
Midnight.
2.5 hours, it looks like a shandy market. That was my first sentence in the report. I called
Wow.
it a spade a spade.
Wow. Wow.
I called it a spade and spade, and it was accepted. The ICAO president immediately said, come on, you make the investments and progressively we will increase the charges.
Wow. Did they
That's how
do
it goes.
it? Did they do it in that airport? Zahar Airport?
No, in all the 4 international airports, at the time only 4, now about 11 or so are there. Again, I have asked for whether you are interested in getting my services for this. They have got an economics department, they are doing it now. They are getting very good price now. The third very important one was from the Oil and Natural Gas Commission.
Okay.
I did 3 studies for Oil and Natural Gas Commission. Colonel Wahi said, you please tell me whether my management decisions are correct. You may conduct a management audit. That is one. So I did a management audit for chairman, whether his decisions are correct. Oh, that is the only organization I have come across so far to have done an introspection of their decisions.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
About chairman.
the second one, he gave a one-line reference. See, you please tell me where I have to reduce costs or increase costs so that my executives work at a cost, but not at any cost.
It should be more economical.
Yeah, more economical.
Yeah.
And you can see if you go in for an exploration well, probably it may cost around 2 lakhs to 20 lakhs. It may be soil is not that much dense means 2 lakhs. But if the soil is very, very hard, you have to go 3,000 meters,
Put more
4,000 meters.
money. Yes.
So I developed a benchmark analysis and other things that gave it. Somehow or other, they are not happy with that report because I have been pointing out you are spending too much money on exploration and things like that. But For me, it was an eye-opener. I was able to go to Bombay offshore projects 2 times, spending about 8 days there in the off the shore, and then go to Assam, go to
Okay.
Gujarat and other places, and also Kaveri Basin, Kaveri and Krishna Basin, all those places. And other energy studies for Orissa state government, Tamil Nadu government, Madhya Pradesh government. It's a very, very interesting chart. The Director of Finance, Mr. Sethuratnam, asked me, you please train my executives in finance. I want technical people to come into. I cannot just give them the thing. I will conduct an examination and select. But on one condition, after training, if I say this man must be promoted, you have to promote him. I will give a ranking for them.
Okay.
6 months. 6 months I brought them to Madras, put them in the hotel, and then very near the IFMR, and daily they have to commute by walking, including 3 ladies.
And how was the result?
Huh?
How was the result
No,
then?
no, it was very good. It was appreciated, and I was given another back-to-back training program for the in 1 year time. In 1 year time, and the MPEB kept its promises, and I am happy to say, I am rather proud to say, one of my students became a regulatory commissioner, which position I took immediately after retiring from IFMR. The government of Tamil Nadu asked me, you please form the commission. So I formed the commission along with my colleague, who is a retired chief engineer from TNEB. We completely, formulated the scheme of things, and I also assisted in the development of Electricity Act 2003, which is the back burner for all these developments. But unfortunately, the interest of the government in energy department is not that much showy, because they don't have money. Because take for instance, almost every EB has got about a lakh of crores debt. And where freebies are given, like, say, for instance, in my house, I am enjoying first 100 units free. I don't know whether you are enjoying it or not in Bangalore, but I am enjoying it every month. Every month. In Pondicherry, they are giving 200 units a month. Free of cost.
Okay, first 200
Free
units.
of cost. So that was it.
Okay.
So
do
but
you think
unfortunately, because lack of money, no, let me complete. Lack of money, they are not able to expand to meet the needs of the people. So the demand went up, supply is not there, there is scarcity of power, and there is power cut and energy cuts. This was the situation when we are forced to think of alternatives. So let me start with an alternative. Bharati said,
we want the alternative, since you said about the power cuts, what is the alternative for this?
Alternative for this is only to, these are all conventional sources. That is coal, lignite, gas, diesel-based stations or conventional stations.
Yes.
Nuclear is a safe mode, but dangerous when you do not handle it. In fact, electricity is also like that. As long as you handle the electricity, you are the master and it is the slave. But if you make a mistake, you become the slave and it becomes the master.
Yes,
That is the first lesson I have learned.
Very true.
That is the first lesson I have learned. So we thought of alternatives. The alternatives were, many options were there, but we took it only from the ancient poems and other things. I will read one or two. You can see in Tamil.
Please. Yeah, please.
Bharati said, Engengu Kaninum Saktiyada.
Okay.
We say Panchabhutam. Panchabhutam. All the Panchabhutam is nothing but power. Nothing but power. Again, after 1 year or so, he said, Nyayiru Potrudum, Nyayiru Potrudum. Nyayiru means sun.
Okay.
Sun. In Christianity, there is a prayer poem, Suryan Varuvadu Yarale, Chandiran Tiruvadu Evarale.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are all, the humanity depends on sun. And our own Upanishad, Bhavishyottara Puranam, it says, of course, I have got a Sanskrit version, I translated into English. Okay. Always focus your attention at the center of the solar system, where the sun, the supreme power of the universe, resides.
Okay. So you mean to say that this Panchabodham, they have the more power out of that? The sun
Yeah,
is more powerful.
Panchabhuta means air, water, fire, clouds, and
Sky.
the other one. Huh?
Sky.
The other one, sky.
Yeah.
Sky. Everywhere power is there, and it can be tapped. But the premises for all these things started with the oil shock in 1971, and energy crisis came. Energy security came to be known at that point of time, and
Yes.
issues of climatic change, that is what you call global warming system, greenhouse gases, they have been talked about so much, and we are heating the world. That's why we are suffering.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
these led to the need for alternative sources of energy, and the immediate one was the solar energy.
Solar.
Even though
Okay.
solar energy,
Yeah.
that is, the sun gives light to the world so that the humanity survives and lives for long.
And it
So
is
this sunlight,
abundance. It is in
what
abundance.
what we receive as light now is generated in the sun 8 minutes ago.
Okay.
8 minutes ago,
Okay.
and it comes here. But you can imagine the heat or the suffering for want of ventilation and other things because of sunlight. During summer, we suffer like anything. But
Yes. Yeah.
we found that there is enough power available, we can tap it. That is one. Likewise, when it is very hot, it rains, idle schemes are filling up, and we generate energy, water.
Yes.
Then wind is there, cyclones and other things are coming, wind power. You won't believe, I will give a small gist of yeah. See, today, as of November 2020,
Okay.
we have got 2,11,382 megawatts of thermal power. That is coal, lignite, diesel, and gas.
Okay. Yeah.
All put together, 2,11,382. Nuclear, we have got 6,780. I don't know why they have not developed this. Even though the injury that is coming from thermal cycles, thermal
Yes.
power plants, is 9 times larger than the nuclear accidents.
Oh
The
God.
Chernobyl and other things are small
Yes.
accidents.
Yes. Yes.
And
It
we have
was.
got a very good track record of maintaining the power station, nuclear power stations, very well. I think probably there was only one accident in a heavy water plant at Baroda. Two people died. That's all. Afterwards, we have not heard
Otherwise,
anything. We have got about nearly 11 or 12 stations today. But we have to go for many nuclear power stations like Kudangulam and other things. Kudangulam has got the largest unit of 1,000 megawatts.
but why they are not focusing on nuclear power then to
No,
extend?
that is because money. And there is no guarantee fuel supply will be there by the supplier. The Canada pulled our legs
Yeah.
somewhere in the, I would put it in 1980s, if I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
correct.
Long back. Yeah.
U-238 for the Tarapur Atomic Power Plant.
Yes.
So we have to be self-sufficient on our own. And we are more or less self-sufficient. Then new plants that are now coming up are with our own this thing. And at Kalpakam, we are experimenting with plutonium reactors. And we have got tremendous amount of plutonium mineral in Kerala.
What is this
Kerala.
plutonium?
It is nothing but a variety of uranium 235 and 238. One variant of U-30, so that if you heat it, you get
Yeah.
plutonium.
Yes.
The plutonium can be fused and energy, thermal energy can be generated. We have got idle stations about 45,700 megawatts. 45,700 megawatts. Whereas renewable energy put together after 71, we have developed a 90,400 megawatts, larger than the idle energy. Even though idle is also non-conventional, but it is linked to thermal and this thing.
But
Of
hydel is
which
more safer. Hydel is more safer than nuclear energy, nuclear power.
no. Suppose the idle dam bursts.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
Morvi in Gujarat, the dam burst
Yes.
down the lines. In
Right.
Narmada, if there is anything happening to the Hoshangabad bridge or the power station, Narmada Sarovar or Sardar Sarovar, probably there won't be the
people won't
this thing.
survive.
Bharuch district will not be there
Yes, yes.
because Narmada alone discharges 48,000 cumecs per hour during the flood times, and it is not yet tamed. That's called Virgin River. In India, Narmada is called Virgin River, and it can have, I think, probably 13th, 14th, and 15th Hadal power stations, which is the river flowing east to west, the only river that is flowing from east to west. It starts somewhere near Jabalpur, some about 100 kilometers away from Jabalpur in the Narmada Satpura Hills. Satpura Hills, and flows about 1,300 kilometers and joins the sea next to Bharuch. And it's a very well. You have to go and see the Gandhi Sagar Dam. Narmada, that is Sardar Sarovar Dam. It's called Sardar Sarovar Dam, one of the largest, and it is able to give water supply to agriculture, water supply as drinking water to Rajasthan. You won't believe. From Gujarat, the canals go to Rajasthan to give 2,000 cubics of this thing.
Water,
and then
deserted water for the desert.
No, drinking water.
Drinking water.
Rajasthan drinking water. Now Rajasthan is giving solar power, enormous solar power.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because it's a desert. Very hard. Of course, solar is very well entrenched in Gujarat, Rajasthan, and to some extent on the western side of Punjab also. That is the thing. And we have got about nearly 13,500 megawatts of solar ground power and 3,500 megawatts of rooftop. That is, every house can its own power. Say we are all called electricity consumers, but we can get ourselves converted into electricity prosumers. That is, we produce electricity and consume our own electricity, so that we can get rid of the electricity grid at all. So there is no need at all. And in offshore, about 1,300 megawatts are being developed. Tidal waves, the depth of the sea from top to bottom. At the top, it will be less thermal, but if you go to the bottom, it will be oriented, and you can convert that energy into only into thermal energy, and then use thermal energy for that. Of course, ONGC does it at Bombay offshore. Yes, these are the some of the things which forced us to go in for the solar power. And solar power, when we started sometime in 1974 or 75, 1 unit of power cost 22 rupees.
So
22 rupees.
Yeah.
But today we are able to get it at 2 rupees 40 paise.
Okay.
I have told I have put a 5 kilowatt solar power plant in my daughter's house. I am generating 20 units of power a day, 600 units a month, and the Pondicherry Electricity Department is giving me money for whatever I export as surplus over my needs.
Okay.
Over my needs. So these are the benefits. Unless the people are aware that solar energy can be very economically used, because
People
you need
can
not
use
depend
this.
on.
Yes, people can use this instead of electricity.
Rooftop plants are encouraged by the government of India. If you put 3 kilowatts, you get 30% subsidy. But if you put 5 kilowatts or up to 10 kilowatts, you get 40% subsidy. So that means the actual cost is only 60%. And at 60%, the cost of power generation at the rooftop is barely 4 rupees. Whereas if you consume more for your air conditioner, you pay about 7 rupees or 8 rupees. I don't know what you are paying at Bangalore. I am paying 6 rupees 60 paise here in Madras. Whereas I am not paying at all. I am supplying power to my neighbor there, free of cost.
Oh.
Free of
cost. Everybody can make use of it. When it is there, they can make use of it.
See, only when it is demonstrated, it will be accepted. That is what our government says. But I cannot have for 5 kilowatts about nearly 2.5 to 3 lakhs to show that this can be done. The government has to give me money. Come on, you have the technology, I will give you money. put
Then
it.
you can do
Make
it.
it mandatory.
Yes.
Make it mandatory. Say, for instance, just opposite, there are 32 houses are there. 32
Okay.
kilowatts can be generated.
Hmm. Yeah.
That means about 16 houses can be self-sufficient in power. I have got 18 flats here. Probably 6 of them can have self-sufficient power.
Yes.
But they
Yes.
are not doing. That is the problem.
Or
So
they
this is
should, they
the,
themselves should come forward for it. They should
yeah.
volunteer. They should come forward. It's a beneficiary for them.
When I am getting it easily from the board, why should I spend my money? That is the attitude. But unfortunately, they do not know. One day there won't be any coal thermal power stations. Lignite will not be there. Coal will not be there. It will be shut down. It is one by one. It is down. So, for instance, the power station where I have worked is closed down already. In 1961 to 68, I worked there, but that
Okay.
station is no more existing.
Hmm.
But because lignite is available, they have
They're
brought
surviving.
new units that will last for only for about 20 years or 25 years. After that, what to do?
Hmm.
That is the thing. Say, for instance, I'll give you two news items, news clippings rather.
Okay.
Last week, Tata Power got 1,200 crores approval for 300 megawatt solar power plant in Gujarat.
Very good. That's
Gujarat,
nice. Uh-huh.
yeah, they
That's
got
good.
it. And in Cochin Airport, uh, the airport is maintained by a private organization. It is not Adani's or Ambani's. It's a private
Yeah.
organization. NRI from Dubai is managing the whole show. And there he has created 2 lakes
Okay.
for water needs of the airport.
Uh-huh.
And in that lake, he
Hmm.
has laid a high density polyethylene, and on that rollable solar power plant he has installed. You won't believe it is for 450 kilowatts. That means he will get about nearly around 700 to 800 units a day
Oh,
out of that.
it's huge. Oh, they can. Then even the government can encourage.
Government has no money, but they have got enough foreign exchange reserves, more than $5 billion. They do not want to release it. That is the problem. That is the problem. See, money can be growing only when you spend it on useful causes. If you do not scramble away money, giving freebies, come on, take a TV or take a fan, which will last only for 1 day. So if you give a TV or a fan, you have to produce electricity for consumption of those things. That they are
Hmm.
not bothered. See, the entire cycle must be closed. Otherwise, freebies should not be given. I opposed it, but in spite of it, they have dumped a TV in my house. It cost
Okay.
1,200. I have not even used. My son said, checked it and then put it on top. Finished. It's
Hmm.
a sheer waste. That's how things are there. But the solar is
Yes.
intermittent.
Ah.
Day and night, daytime I can have power. But what about the night?
Hmm.
That is the
Or,
problem.
or when it is rainy season.
Rainy season, when clouds are there,
Yeah.
it will not generate adequate power.
Yes.
So what they have done is, some about 2 months ago or 3 months ago, the China has sent a sun as a satellite.
Hmm.
That means it will get light from the sun and
Yes.
give light during the night to China. So
Okay.
that light can be used for generating power.
Oh, that means you
We
can
are
store
having,
it. That means you can store it and then use it at night.
no, no, no. Just like Earth gets it, that artificial sun also gets sunlight. And
Okay.
it is developed, but it is put it in such a way that it gets light only on the darker side during night, so that China can get power during night also.
Oh.
Conventionally, they will get it in this thing. And of course, we have got in near Chengalpat, we have experimented whether moonlight can be tapped for power. And we were
Okay.
able to get about two units a day
From
for about
moon.
5 or 6 days. When the full moon comes, 3 days
Oh.
earlier and 3 days later, we are able to get about 2 units. It is between two hillocks. We have installed a solar power plant, hanging solar power plant, and that is giving us. So we are doing small efforts on our own. And of course, we did it for a sannyasi who is well known in Madhya Pradesh. He has
Okay.
got that. He wanted it. We just gave our what we call physical effort, and he gave money. We installed it, and he is getting about nearly 7